You like to think you're in control. When you choose a career path, buy a new car, or decide who to spend your life with, you believe you're making a rational, calculated decision. But what if I told you that most of your choices aren't choices at all? Deep inside your prefrontal cortex, there's a war going on. A war between the person you want to be and a set of ancient, hardwired glitches called cognitive biases. These are the invisible architects of your life. They are the reason you overspend on things you don't need, why you stay in toxic relationships 3 years too long, and why you're terrified of the very risks that would make you rich. Today, we're deconstructing the 7 hidden biases that are secretly pulling the strings of your money, your career, and your heart. If you don't learn how to spot them, you're not living your life. You're just following a script written by your ancestors. Welcome to Psychology Decoded. Let's look under the hood. Bias 1. The sunk cost fallacy, the career and relationship killer. Let's start with the one that wastes more human potential than perhaps any other. The sunk cost fallacy. Have you ever sat through a movie you hated just because you paid $15 for the ticket? Or worse, have you stayed in a job for 5 years because you put in the time, even though you wake up every Monday with a pit in your stomach? Psychologically, humans are programmed to avoid the pain of waste. We feel that if we abandon something we've invested time, money, or emotion into, that investment is lost forever. But here's the cold, hard truth. That time is already gone. It's a sunk cost. By staying in that dead-end relationship or that unfulfilling career because of the past, you are actually stealing from your future. You're throwing good years after bad ones. The fix: ask yourself, if I started today with a blank slate, would I choose this situation again? If the answer is no, it's time to drop the bag of sand. Bias 2. Loss aversion, the wealth ceiling. In the world of money, there is a phenomenon that keeps the middle class middle class. It's called loss aversion. Behavioral economists like Daniel Kahneman discovered that the pain of losing $1,000 is twice as powerful as the joy of gaining $1,000. Evolutionarily, this made sense. Losing your food meant death. Finding extra food was just a bonus. In the modern world, this bias makes you play not to lose instead of playing to win. It's why you keep your money in a savings account earning 0.01% interest while inflation eats it alive. You're so afraid of a market dip that you miss out on the decade-long bull run. In your career, loss aversion looks like staying in a secure $60,000 job instead of reaching for the $120,000 opportunity because you're afraid of the 10% chance it might not work out. We are wired to protect the crumbs we have even when there's a feast just out of reach. Bias 3. The halo effect, the relationship blinder. Have you ever met someone who was incredibly attractive or charismatic and you immediately assumed they were also kind, intelligent, and trustworthy? This is the halo effect. Our brains are lazy. When we perceive one positive trait in a person, our subconscious paints a halo over their entire character. In relationships, this is how we end up with wolves in sheep's clothing. We focus on the high-status job or the great smile and ignore the red flags. In the workplace, this bias is why tall, attractive people are statistically more likely to be promoted regardless of their actual performance. We aren't seeing people for who they are. We're seeing them for who our brain assumes they must be based on a single data point. To break this, you have to separate traits from character. Bias 4. Confirmation bias, the echo chamber. This is the bias that runs the internet and ruins your communication. Confirmation bias is our tendency to search for, favor, and recall information that confirms what we already believe. If you believe your partner is selfish, your brain will act like a high-powered radar, picking up every time they forget to do the dishes while completely ignoring the 5 times they went out of their way to help you. In your career, if you think the economy is crashing, you'll only read the headlines that predict doom, causing you to miss out on growth opportunities. We don't want the truth, we want to be right, and being right feels better than being successful. Until you learn to actively seek out information that proves you wrong, you will always be a prisoner of your own perspective. Bias 5. The anchoring effect, the negotiation trap. Ever wonder why clothing stores always have a suggested retail price that's way higher than the sale price? They are anchoring you. The anchoring effect is the human tendency to rely too heavily on the first piece of information offered. In a negotiation, the first number put on the table sets the anchor. Everything else is just a variation of that first number. If you're buying a house and the seller asks for $500,000, that number is now the center of your universe. Even if the house is only worth $475,000, you'll feel like you got a deal if you pay $475,000. Your brain doesn't calculate absolute value, it calculates relative value. If you don't set the anchor yourself, someone else will set it for you. Bias 6, the overconfidence effect, the entrepreneur's gamble. Ask a room full of people if they are above average drivers, and 80% will raise their hand. Mathematically, that's impossible. The overconfidence effect is why we take on more debt than we can handle and why we think we can beat the market with day trading. In our careers, it leads us to overpromise and underdeliver, damaging our reputation. In relationships, it makes us think we can fix a partner who doesn't want to change. We overestimate our influence and underestimate the complexity of the world. A little bit of ego is necessary for ambition, but unchecked overconfidence is a fast track to a crash landing. Bias 7, the present bias, the silent thief. Finally, we have the present bias, also known as hyperbolic discounting. This is the preference for immediate rewards over long-term gains. It's the reason you buy the $1,000 iPhone today instead of investing that money for your retirement. It's the reason you choose the instant gratification of an argument in a relationship instead of the long-term peace of staying calm. Our brains are still wired for a world where we might not survive until tomorrow, but in the 21st century, the greatest rewards come to those who can delay gratification. The you of today is the enemy of the you of 10 years from now. To win, you have to start treating your future self like someone you actually care about. Awareness is the first step towards freedom. You can't completely eliminate these biases. They're part of your biological operating system. But you can learn to pause, recognize the glitch, and make a conscious choice. If you found this deep dive valuable, hit that subscribe button and join our community. We're deconstructing the complexities of the human mind every week to help you decode your life. And for those who want to take it further, look at your life right now. Which of these 7 biases is currently holding you back the most? Is it the sunk cost of a job? The anchoring of your salary? Let us know in the comments. Let's start the conversation. This is Psychology Decoded. We'll see you in the next one.